Hi, and welcome to this week's video podcast. I'm Brent Dodge with Alpine Physical Therapy. I have with me Angela Listig-Vatt, our clinic manager at our North Clinic here in Missoula. Angela, thanks for joining us.
Hi.
You know, Angela is a fellow of the American Academy of Orthopedic Manual Physical Therapists, the only fellow at this time in the state of Montana. And on an annual basis, she will go to the annual conference of the American Academy. And this year, she was in Washington, D.C. in October, and she's here to share with us some of the highlights of that conference. Angela, can you give us just a couple of ideas of some of the things you walked away with when you were in D.C.?
Oh, sure. Well, first I want to talk about real-time ultrasound because that was one of the more exciting things for me. It's one of the reasons I really wanted to go this year because I knew they were going to be talking about it a lot. In physical therapy, we often, as you know, treat low back pain, and that often includes training a lot of our deep muscles. We often refer to it as the core, but the core is actually three muscle groups. It's the pelvic floor muscles, the multifidus, the transverse abdominis. And once you've had back pain, it's sometimes hard to recruit these muscles. They shut down on us, unfortunately, when you need them the most. And so we retrain these muscles in people, but sometimes it's very difficult to feel them, especially if you've had pain for quite a long time. And so what real-time ultrasound is being used now is as a training tool. And basically, it's not the ultrasound that you've had in physical therapy before. Well, it is, but different settings, so that we can actually visualize the muscles in the abdominal wall, as well as the muscles in the back. And so we're using real-time ultrasound to look at those muscles and then see if they're actually getting the right muscle contraction when we're training. We can do it without it. We can do it with our hands, and we can do it with our eyes, making sure that they aren't cheating in all sorts of ways. But real-time ultrasound is a brand new way of ensuring that people are doing it correctly. And so that was one of the more exciting things that I took away with.
I can tell you from 20 years of experience, I know, trying to work in the clinic and make sure that somebody that's had an occurrence of back pain, making sure their muscles are firing, it's sometimes guesswork. And I think what you're talking about is a way to really get it objectively and know where are they when they start, are they getting those muscles to work, and then are they improving with their therapy and their exercises.
Yeah, it's really exciting. They're using it in research too to show that this type of all the exercises that we're doing for the deep core muscles, that we're actually getting change, and you can see that change on the screen using the real-time ultrasound. And while we're using it largely for low back pain right now, it's also being used in women's health for pelvic floor training and in the cervical spine for deep neck flexor training.
Wow. Well, I know Alpine's been talking about getting a real-time ultrasound machine. I bet we'd be the first around the state to have one.
Well, that's my plan.
Very well done. Any other things that you gained from the class that's worthy of talking about?
Yeah, this one was really interesting because it has a clinical application for you and I, as well as all of our patients. Often after we've retrained these abdominal muscles, and not just abdominal, your core muscles, those three core muscle groups, people start feeling better, and then we transition them into a home program. And we might say, okay, you need to continue this for about 4 months, and then you can probably reduce and you should be okay. Well, we found out that isn't true. So what they did is they took a study and they looked at people that had low back pain, and they taught them the base, core exercises. These people did it in a clinic 2 times a week for 6 weeks, and they improved, and their muscle activation improved and their low back pain improved. Then they continued with the home program for 6 additional weeks, continued to improve. Good news, right? Then they took these same people and they had them stop their home program for, and I don't remember the exact date, but it was timeline, it was about 6 to 8 weeks. They stopped doing their home program, and then they went back in for a reevaluation, and their muscle activation started to return to an underactivation, so started to return to being not as good as we want it to be. And so basically the clinical application of this is that you don't get to stop. That once you have a significant condition that causes underactivation of your deep core muscles, you'll have to work on that for life. It's like It's like once you have an injury, it's always a sensitive area and you have to take care of it. And that's true for our low back pain. And so if you want to prevent re-injury or reduce the recurrence of episodes of low back pain, you're just going to have to stay with it on a regular basis for a lifetime.
What you're talking about seems to help answer some of the questions that I've raised over the years as to why so many people who've had one incident of back pain come back with a recurrence. And my understanding is that 8 out of 10 people will have back pain at some point in industrialized nations. Of those, fully 90%, 9 out of 10 are heading for a recurrence.
Yeah.
And what you're describing is once we get those muscles activated again, which we know from the research can reduce pain, improve function, and help people return to normal activity, is that if they stop doing that for a while, they could recur. They could have that recurrence of back pain.
Yeah, definitely. And so now that we know this information, maybe we can reduce the recurrence rate if we educate people properly that this isn't a temporary home program.
I like the sound of that, and I'm sure our patients do too. Do you have an idea of where the class is going to be next year?
San Antonio.
Okay, and I'm sure you'll be there. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to hear what you bring back to Alpine and to Missoula. I'd like to thank Angela Listug-Vapp for being with us today and sharing the highlights of the recent American Academy Conference that was in Washington, D.C. We look forward to seeing what she brings back here in about a year when she goes to San Antonio, and keep posted for that information. Thanks for viewing.